Hey everyone, here I am with another chef's knife, and this one has what's known as a recurve or a reverse bow in the blade. So basically, this is the cutting edge down here, and you can see how instead of having a nice curve like this, right from here to here, it has this curve like this. And this is totally due to improper sharpening. Honestly, I'm not sure how this one is sharpened. It kind of looks like a pull through, but it also kind of looks like somebody maybe took a rotary tool to it. But in any case, what they didn't do is maintain a good, nice curve on the edge there. And so if I were to hold this against a flat surface, like this board, like, if you were using this on your cutting board, like you're supposed to be able to use a chef's knife, you can see, hopefully, the light sticking under the edge there. And also, if I rock it, you can feel it hit. It doesn't curve nicely all the way down, and you can hear that click. If a blade had a nice curve to it, like if I stay up here on this part, you can hear how you don't hear a click. And once I fix this one, you won't hear a click on the whole blade. But since it has that recurve there, you hear that click. So that's an easy way to tell if you're not sure. Just grab your cutting board, rock your knife, see if it clicks at the heel. And so this one does not have a bolster like I showed in the other video on the chef's knife with the bolster, but even though it doesn't have a bolster, we can still have the same issue with it not cutting food, even if it's sharp, simply because that part of the cutting edge doesn't get all the way down to the cutting board when you go to cut against it. So what I'm going to do is first I'm going to fix the blade shape and establish a nice curve to the blade. Once I do that, then we're going to be back up into thicker steel on the blade. So I'm going to thin the blade out a little bit behind the cutting edge to restore the proper cross-section edge geometry to the blade. And then once that's done, then I'll actually sharpen the cutting edge, and then I'll come back and I'll show you what it looks like with a proper bow in the blade. Now, I'm not going to do this one all by hand because I have other equipment where I can get it done a lot faster and it'll be done just as nicely. But just to show you how you would fix this by hand in case you want to do this at home, basically what you would do is you would grab whatever your roughest water stone is. So in my case, it's this really rough one. I think this is about 150 grit. And basically what you would do is you would take it like you were going to sharpen the knife, but you would hold it up at a lot higher angle, so maybe 45 degrees or something to your stone. Now this is going to be way too obtuse of an angle to cut anything with, but it will allow you to grind the parts of the knife away that you need to quickly. And then once you have a nice shape to the blade, then you can come back down, thin out the knife, sharpen it at a nice low angle on the cutting edge, get a burr on both sides, deburr it, and go through the process like I show in my other how to sharpen videos. But just to get rid of the damage, I'm going to come in at a nice high angle, 30, 35, 40, 45 degrees, something like that. And if I look at the blade here, in order to get a nice curve to it again, I know that I can't add steel back on. So what this means that I have to instead remove steel here and here, because since this is the highest part off the board, I have to make that part of the new curve. And so in order to do that, I know that steel has to come off here and steel has to come off here. Now, if you wanted, you could take a marker, and in fact here I will grab a marker, and you could even kind of draw on the blade and say, well, I want the new curve to look maybe something like that. And you could do a better job, but basically you could draw a nice curve on the blade and then you could just sharpen to it. So anyway, what that would look like is you would hold the knife up at a nice steep angle, and then the spots like here, where you need to remove a lot of steel, you would grind, and you would use a lot of downward pressure, and go at whatever speed you're comfortable. Obviously, I do this professionally. I've done thousands of knives, so I can go pretty fast. And then every once in a while, just alternate to the other side. And basically, I would just go back and forth until I've got the blade profile that I want again. And then, like I said, go watch my other videos and go through the standard sharpening procedure. So if you were going to do it by hand, that's how you would go about doing it. All right, so I've thinned the knife out, sharpened it up. You can hear now there's no click, and it makes contact all the way from the tip to the heel when I rock it against a flat piece of wood, or when it would be rocked against a cutting board. So now this knife is nice and sharp. It's good to go. I restored the cross-section blade geometry so it'll cut through things easily. And yeah, so this one's good to go.